Criminal charges. Over 20 Labour MPs could be facing criminal charges. What's really happening behind closed doors in Westminster? This explosive story raises disturbing questions about accountability, integrity, and the very fabric of our democracy. Shocking new details have emerged, suggesting that the fallout from recent scandals could implicate over 20 Labour MPs in criminal investigations. Why does this matter? Because these aren't just isolated incidents. They hint at deeper systemic issues that could shake public trust in our leaders and institutions. From calls for criminal record checks for parliamentarians to the growing backlog in the justice system, the stakes couldn't be higher. What's at the heart of this crisis? And how far does it go? Stay tuned as we unravel the truth and dive into the implications for our political future. Here's what you need to know. What's really happening behind closed doors in Westminster? The allegations range from violent assaults to undisclosed criminal histories, raising critical questions about accountability and the standards we hold for our elected officials. Let's start with Labour MP Mike Amesbury, who was recently jailed for 10 weeks after a drunken assault on a constituent. Despite his conviction, Amesbury continues to collect his taxpayer-funded salary of £91,346 while serving time in prison, too. This has reignited public outrage over MPs receiving full pay during custodial sentences, a loophole that undermines trust in the system. Should taxpayers be footing the bill for convicted MPs? And why hasn't Parliament acted to close this gap? This isn't an isolated case. In 2019, another Labour MP, Fiona Onasanya, faced similar backlash for collecting her salary while imprisoned. These incidents highlight systemic flaws in parliamentary standards and raise broader questions about whether current rules are fit for purpose. Adding fuel to the fire are calls for mandatory criminal record checks for all MPs and peers. Labour MP Joe White has proposed introducing Disclosure and Barring Service (DBS) screenings as part of Parliament's onboarding process. Currently, MPs are only barred from running if they've served more than a year in prison, but there's no requirement for background checks, a stark contrast to professions like teaching or social work. White's proposal has gained cross-party support, yet it faces resistance from those claiming it infringes on privacy. But given MPs' access to vulnerable groups like children and hospital patients, isn't it time we demand higher standards from our leaders? This reform could prevent future scandals and restore public confidence in Parliament's integrity. Meanwhile, Labour's own Charging Commission has exposed a dramatic collapse in crimes solved under Conservative leadership. Over 90% of crimes now go unsolved, leaving victims without justice and criminals free to act with impunity. The Commission points to a breakdown in communication between police forces and the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, resulting in disastrous delays and poor outcomes. This failure isn't just about inefficiency. It's about lives ruined by a system that doesn't deliver. Victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault are withdrawing from cases at record rates because they've lost faith in justice. How can we trust our leaders to fix these issues when Parliament itself is plagued by scandals? These two stories, the criminal charges against MPs and the collapse of justice, are deeply intertwined. Both reflect systemic failures that erode public trust in institutions meant to serve us. Whether it's MPs exploiting loopholes or victims abandoned by a broken justice system, the message is clear: we need reform. Labour has promised sweeping changes if elected, but can they deliver? Their recent anti-immigration measures have already sparked outrage among supporters, suggesting internal divisions that could hinder progress. And with scandals like Amesbury's casting shadows over their credibility, is Labour truly equipped to lead? The stakes couldn't be higher for democracy, justice, and the future of governance in the UK. These shocking revelations demand answers and action. What do you think? Should convicted MPs lose their pay? Should DBS checks become mandatory? And how can we fix a justice system failing millions of victims? Let us know your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue uncovering the truth behind Westminster's walls. Stay tuned, there's much more to come.